To understand the fatal crash of Flight 140, investigators first need to figure out why the Air China pilots aborted their landing just moments from the runway.
Are we ready?
They now have an important tool to help them. In 1994, the digital flight data recorder is relatively new. The data should reveal if there is an onboard system malfunction or any alarm warning that landing would be unsafe.
This is the timeline of the airspeed.
Investigators can see that the speed drops on the initial approach when the Air China crew is dealing with wake turbulence.
Better reduce the speed a little more. Reduce it to 170.
But the speed only drops slightly.
Speed is still good for an approach, nothing to worry about.
Cleared to land. Run.
The turbulence didn't prompt the pilots to go around. The buffeting stopped in plenty of time for a safe landing. As Flight 140 descends towards 1,000 feet, everything looks normal.
They activate the go-around mode right here. I don't get it. Why would they do that? Everything seems fine.
The black box data leads investigators to turn a spotlight on the pilots themselves.
What were these guys thinking?
Digging into their personnel files, they learned that the first officer joined China Airlines as a student, training on small aircraft before working up to the A300. He made first officer just a year before the crash. The China Airlines practice is for new pilots to keep learning on the job with an experienced captain at their side.
Captain Wang Lo Chi, 42 years old.
Captain Wang should have been up to the task. He had more than 8,000 flight hours over a 24-year career. But when investigators drilled down, it's not so clear-cut.
Not a lot of time in the Airbus.
They learned that the captain flew Boeing 747s for most of his time at China Airlines, and just as a first officer. He was only promoted to captain a year ago when he started flying the A300. He was as new to the plane as his first officer, with just over 1,300 flight hours.
So you have a captain that's come from an older generation of airplanes, and you have a first officer that's come from a newer generation of airplanes, but only from a school background. So that's two relatively new pilots on the same airplane.
By 1994, there were hundreds of A300s in the skies. Airlines needed trained pilots to fly these technologically advanced aircraft. The crew on the accident flight was part of this surge.
It's okay. Just do it slowly.
Did the pilots understand the flight systems well enough? Only the voice recorder can provide answers.